Hey, hello one, hello all. Welcome to episode 5 of American Werewolf in London. Coming at you as the American. It's the Danish person, CP. Hello. A werewolf, 13th Wolfman.
Oh!
You're getting way better at that, by the way. And playing the role of London, Emily, from Emily's Adventures in Harlem.
Hello.
Someday we're going to get you to say more than one word.
But it is not this day.
Okay.
It'll probably be goodbye. 2 words.
Yeah. Wait. Why not? Hey, howdy, hey. At least that's still somewhat short.
Oh yeah, that's a thing I say, isn't it? I forgot.
I was gonna say it sounds so natural.
Oh, so check this out. The chat is already lively, guys. I figured out a bootleg way to show everybody in the chat. So you are a part of the show. So by all means, if you have something ridiculous to say, because Wolf's probably bound to offend somebody with whatever his opinion is. So I think I bootleg figured it out. So there it is. If you're watching in the future,
hits thumbs up. Okay, good to know.
Culture Freak, hello from Belgium. No, hello in Belgium, right? I think I got that. Okay, so one of the major subjects today is capable characters in film. But first, the trailer for The Disaster Artist dropped within the last time that we streamed, which is, of course, the film about the process of making the Tommy Wiseau classic, The Room. Thoughts? Emily's to my left. I guess we'll go with you first.
Yeah, it looked pretty promising. I was rather hoping Tommy would play himself, but I guess he has other things to do. So,
I think part of the deal was he would sign off on anything, but he had to have a cameo in that movie.
Oh,
so I think he's in it in some degree. As is Greg Sestero, whatever the
Sestero, I think.
Yeah, who of course wrote the book. Wolf.
You guys asked me before if I'd seen The Room, and I don't even recognize the title, so I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it. But I did watch the trailer for this because you guys mentioned it, and wow. I said it before, man. James Franco will not have to die tomorrow and stop making movies. James Franco's career is pretty much over because.
All right, let me get my finger on the chat ready here. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. I liked his performance in Covenant.
No, don't get me wrong.
Both seconds of it.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, he does have he has made movies outside of the Seth Rogen thing, but it seems like the only ones where he gets any recognition are the times that he plays, Seth Rogen's stoned out, dim-witted boyfriend. Like in the interview.
He got praised for that movie where he was basically
127 hours.
Sure, there's that. Of course, I think he was nominated, so we'll throw that there. What's that movie? Spring Breakers, was that it? Where he basically played.
The movie was so bad, though.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not ripping on him because he's in it. I just the whole story and the plot was just. It just felt like it was just a amalgamation of like 100 ideas that someone said, okay, well, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. And there was really no format to it, our thought process when they're putting the movie together. Hey, let's go out and get drunk. Okay, now let's see what happens when we get drunk, type of movie.
I felt like that about American Honey, which recently came out and got a lot of praise with Shia LaBeouf. And
well said.
That's another guy that really, needs to follow the path and just go away.
Dude, I think society's doing that. Have you seen? He got arrested recently, and
yeah,
no one cared.
He got very lippy with a cop who happened to have a camera on his chest, and all you could hear is Shia just saying some rather.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah,
like
something like I could own you or something like that. He got a little racist with his suggestions, so
he's lucky he could barely afford to own a Pinto.
Mm.
I actually think Dave Franco is the better actor of the Franco brothers.
And what gives you that opinion? What have you seen Dave in that makes you think?
Oh, you're gonna do this to me.
All right, hold on. So while you're thinking, hey Wes, Disaster Artist is going to be the best film since The Room itself. Yes, Tommy Wiseau has a cameo in the film. David Mills says Emily looks lovely today.
Thank you.
Daniel Hammond, LOL. Yeah, apparently Wolf and I are chopped liver. R.I.P. James.
Yeah, what about these guys?
Yeah,
Don't they
fucking
look
A,
lovely?
man. I haven't worn this color yet this year, and nothing. Hello from the UK. Hello, 80s horror fan 88. You should be 88 horror fan, no? Dennis from 16 feet across says, how's Wolf pissing people off today? He's just getting started now, apparently. James Franco is directing and starring in the film. That's about how they made The Room. He plays Tommy Wiseau. Yes, he does. Okay, Wolf. So Dave Franco, what about him?
I don't know. I'm blanking on anything I've seen him in. I know I've seen him in stuff. I just know that when it comes down to it, I think as an actor structurally, he just comes off a little bit. I don't know. James Franco bugs me. He just gets to the point where he plays the same character most of the time in most of his movies. The Interview, but
he's playing a version of something you've seen him do. I understand what you're saying.
I can't watch it again. I mean, the only movie of his with him and Seth Rogen that I could actually watch more than once is The End of the World. You know? Mm-hmm. Or This Is the whatever it's called. The one that's not the Simon Pegg film. Or the Edgar Wright film. Because they both came out at the same time with similar titles.
Mm.
The one that's
The End of the World. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Shit. The end. This is the end. This is the end.
That's the one.
It's pretty much the only one I can watch that I don't mind James Franco being a dumbass in. I can't rewatch like Pineapple Express or, you know.
Oh, why not? That's Seth Rogen. The wrong one.
It just gets to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. You guys like pot, and you just a lot of bad jokes. You get to the point where you kind of get tired. I actually think Jonah Hill, out of the Rogen stable, mm-hmm. You get Jonah Hill outside of the Rogen stable, and you get him in serious movies. He's the best actor of that whole group, because I liked him in True Story.
Oh, Wolf, really?
Yeah.
If you were gonna, if you were
as a serious role, you know,
Wolf of Wall Street. Wall Street Wolf.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. It's got Leo in it. I don't watch Leo.
Oh man. So House of Blues. Hello one. Hello all. Hey. I keep wanting to call you Hoarder. Wes says, doesn't Dave Franco play Greg Sestero? He does. We'll have a direct comparison of their acting. That's quite funny. So Franco in Alien is like all of his other roles. Dennis. So yeah, actually, kind of. Sort of. Franco was okay in Homefront. I don't remember that. Homefront.
Is
that a show? That's a show, right?
No, that's the Jason Statham movie. Where Jason Statham's like, he's an ex-CIA agent or something like that. He's living in this little town with his daughter, and the daughter meets up with Franco, who's like a local drug dealer or something. It was okay. Franco was the best part of it.
Right. And
it's just a Statham film, you know.
Daniel Hammond says James Franco's a good actor. He just chooses shit roles a lot of the time. 127 hours, he proved that he's a worthy actor.
He didn't really have much to go on there, though. I mean, because it was already a true story. We already knew. I mean, all he had to do is just endure suffering. You know, I mean.
Oh, was that all?
That's pretty much it. You know, I mean, my hand's stuck.
Is that all?
Is that all? That's it.
Yeah. So what are we expecting from the disaster artist? Because
It looks like it could be funny. I mean, I'll probably wait for like I wouldn't see it in the theater. You know, I wouldn't see it in the theater. I'm not talking about you guys.
I think it's funny that the trailer is just like so apparently, Tommy Wiseau for that line. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. That was done in 32 takes. So, I'm wondering how much of that scene, like, I mean, it's essentially
what the trailer. They said it was like 67, so that's already incorrect.
So that's a comedic. Well, I listen. The number I have could be wrong. The number I have could be wrong. But you know, it just kind of, if they just keep exposing all of that, they repurposed a sex scene 2 or 3 times in the movie, like it.
Yeah, because I believe the actress was uncomfortable and didn't want to do more than a couple or one. So.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Go ahead. Whatever you're going to say.
Go ahead, caller.
We're going to be joined by Peter.
So yeah, I heard that the actress was uncomfortable doing the sex scene. So I guess they chopped it up and made it into more than one, which explains a few of the continuity errors, possibly. I am not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, she didn't want to do a nude scene, apparently.
Whereas Tommy was all for that.
Hey, Jason, how are you? Long time no see. Daniel Hamilton says 32 takes, and he wrote the film. Listen, that doesn't mean anything. I wrote myself a small part into a thing, and when you're focusing on, never mind.
The video's up on his channel. You can find
it. Yeah.
You got to wonder about the directors that can write, act, and direct themselves all at the same time. I mean, it takes some kind of talent.
To a degree. I'd like Tarantino to stop acting, if I'm being utterly honest. I know how good my coffee is. I'm the one who buys it. Oh, just die. Die 13 deaths, you fuck.
Don't pick on Jimmy.
Oh, you know what? In Reservoir Dogs, he's fine, but in Pulp Fiction, I just want to shit on his head.
Reservoir Dogs, he gets shot in the first 10 minutes.
Exactly my point. But yeah, no.
So what? You're now gonna pick on him? Is Richie Gecko too?
Which one is that?
Yeah, that's him.
Which one?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, but he didn't direct that.
Yeah, but he wrote it.
Okay. I mean, if I don't have to tell the DP.
No. You're ripping on his acting, so it shouldn't matter.
No. His acting when he's directing.
Okay. Because no. I mean, I know what I said, but I just wasn't sure. I just thought you're throwing a general blanket over his acting.
No. Pulp Fiction more than anything. I do not. He ruins that scene as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. Now that's surprising.
First of all, you're this little fucking douchebag in a robe with your cup of coffee. You're talking to 2 hitmen, one of which is black, and you drop the N-word like it's the. I don't think so.
Yeah, but you got to remember.
You can't say it as nonchalantly as that.
Right.
Get away with it.
Yeah, but Jules is his buddy. I mean, he knows what he can get away with Jules around. But still, like, that's the thing.
Is there a conversation that happens like, can I call you the N-word? Is that cool? Is that not cool?
like they're at his house with a person they just killed. Like, you would think maybe this isn't the time to be dropping N-bombs every other word.
Or maybe that's precisely the time to drop them. You just called me that? You just killed someone. Fair enough.
Touche.
I always looked at Jimmy as kind of like he was somewhat, at the time, he was somewhat, maybe not at that time, but he was at one point somewhat in the lifestyle that Jules was into, because he knows. He's like, you got to make some phone calls, you got to call some people. He knows what's going on and what's got to be taken care of.
Even his cadence in that moment. You have to call some people. Like he's just such a whiny bitch in that movie. I just listen. I'll sing QT's praises up and down, but as far as acting, suck it. Not in that movie. No. Wes,
Hello, White Tim.
Oh wait, I'll get there. Hang on. Wouldn't you be uncomfortable if you had to be that close to Tommy Wiseau? Yeah, probably. Mary finally made it. Hi, Mary. It's been what, 2 weeks? Mr. Movie retracted us. See, now I'm intrigued. Whatever you retracted. Hello, Mr. Movie. Daniel Hammond quotes the line with dead end person storage. White Tim, hello, White Tim. I said I was going to get to you. Mr. Movie says I hate him in Django. Yeah, it's probably a close second for me. Noob? No, that's not the N word we're looking for, Dennis. And the rest, he says, and then see, now they're having a little cuddle fest. Tim and Dennis are best friends, and they're gonna probably say something at some point in this stream to embarrass me with either Lee or others, because that's how they work. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, to me, Pulp Fiction is my favorite Tarantino film. It's the one that I've seen probably more than any of the others, you know.
No, it's up there.
I love it when they have to get rid of Marvin, you know.
I'm not saying that the movie's bad. I'm just saying that if I have to change one thing about Pulp Fiction, I'm swapping out Tarantino.
Okay. But my favorite line in that whole movie has always been, "Oh my God, I shot Marvin in the head." And it's just because
it is a funny scene. It's just so out of left field. Like, wait, what?
Well, it's hilarious because Travolta says it as nonchalant as he's not
like,
going
I dropped
over the top, freaking out. He's like, "Oh my God, I shot Marvin in the face." it's like, "Oh my God, I just spilled my Coke."
Peter.
Hello,
Peter. Everybody, this is shit. You're on my channel. This is Bearded Movie Guy, one half of the show business half.
Yeah.
Long time no see, sweetie.
Hey, how's it going, darling?
So we're kind of talking about Peter, Emily.
Hi,
Emily.
And 13th Wolfman, Peter.
How's it going, man?
I'm trying to think if me and Wolfman met once, I think,
a
long time ago.
Okay.
But I've never met Emily before, so nice to meet you guys.
I'm the only one without hair in this group, so.
Hold on, I'll make you feel better.
All right, so two of us are hatted. Oh wait, you got a me hat on. That's cost.
Yeah, dude. It's the only hat I wear.
Okay. So we were nonchalantly talking about Tarantino, I guess.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Oh, directors acting. That's
acting.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Peter?
I liked him in Pulp Fiction. I don't know.
No.
I agree he's not a great actor, and he's terrible in Django with the Australian accent. In Pulp Fiction, he's not good as gotta take that. But no, he's not good in that. But I don't know, in Pulp Fiction, because I didn't know him when I watched Pulp Fiction, right? Like when I watched Pulp Fiction, I had no clue who Tarantino was. So to me, it was just another guy, and it was like, oh, that's the guy who wrote and directed this. It's like, oh, okay, So I'm so used to it, it doesn't bother me. But no, he's not great when he's in his own movies. Like, again, I just watched Reservoir Dogs again. My wife just saw it for the first time. I just showed it to her. Ever? She'd never seen it before. It was the one Tarantino. She loved it. She thought it was great. Yeah, for a first effort, especially, it's a great movie.
What was that, Wolf?
So, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say this comment from you, who's never seen Anaconda.
You've never seen Anaconda. You've never seen? Oh, Emily's never seen Anaconda.
Well, no, but
CP's never.
And
seen
the
it.
sequel, The Blood Orchid.
that's a good name.
I've never seen it either. What does that have to do with Reservoir?
No, not arachnophobia.
Okay.
Get it right.
Anaconda.
I'm just like,
I'm like, yeah. What does that have to do with anything?
I'm like, I don't get the reference, but okay, I'll go with it.
I never thought CP, and I just made myself look like a fool. So.
That's what you get for trying to shit on me. No.
Arachnophobia. Okay. But no. It's like she'd never seen it. It's the one that kind of slipped by her radar, and so like it was ultra cool watching it now. It's like, you know, it's like seeing where he goes in his career and looking back and seeing some of the things he did as a first-time director and writer and all that stuff is really cool. So, like the trunk shots, like where they're like, "Oh, I got something for you," and they open up the trunk. It's like, "Oh yeah, he's done that a million times." It's
yeah,
like,
he's done a variation of that in even in Django. He managed to squeeze that shot in somewhere. I forgot.
yeah, they do it every chance they get, basically.
It's either the trunk shot or the foot shot, one of the two.
Oh yeah. He gets a little lingery with the foot shot, especially in Death Proof. That's like foot porn, that movie.
Yeah, it is. I love the second half of that movie.
I don't mind Death Proof. I actually.
Oh no, I like the first half is okay, but it's a little self-indulgent, and then the second half when Zoe Bell shows up, it just becomes awesome.
Emily, were you going to say something?
Nope.
All right, so I'll catch up with the chat. Nobody talks about Destiny turns on.
Oh, I've seen Destiny turns on. Oh, is that the one where he plays Destiny?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know that references.
There's a movie where he plays Destiny. It's who is it? James Frick. Well, I can't remember the guy's name, but he plays literally a guy like Destiny, and he shows up and has these two people talking, and he's Destiny just talking to them and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's what it's talking about. It's a really small part.
Daniel Hammond says, I'm looking forward to Tarantino directing the new Manson family film. Didn't we touch on that 2 weeks ago?
Last week or two ago,
yeah.
Yeah, you guys were mentioning it.
I need to know a little bit. I need footage before I can get any sort of opinion, because Tarantino is a little self-indulgent, and if he makes any of those characters at all cool, I don't know. Like you take. Have any of you seen the trailer for that new Dahmer?
Yes.
No, not yet.
Yes.
No. My Friend Dahmer, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And it's Jeffrey Dahmer in high school, and he's kind of off, a little odd, but
just a little off kilter.
Yeah. They don't. At least I don't. As far as the trailer's concerned, they don't focus on him as an adult.
This is kind of like the early alienation of his life. Right.
I guess where he starts,
before the rubber band snaps and he falls off the cliff.
So, I don't know. I get
It's a little weird because, like, I'll be honest, I don't know tons about what happened with the Manson thing, or like I know little bits and pieces here and there, but I don't know the whole story. It's never been laid out for me. There's a ton of people probably like me who don't, and it kind of scares me that my first offering of that might be Tarantino, awesome, cool dialogue Tarantino, where, man, these people seem pretty freaking cool. It's like, and there'll be a whole generation of people, like, I'm older, I just never really got into that stuff, but like there'll be a whole generation of young people who learn about that through his film.
They'll think that that's who they are. Now, they were these cool, slick hippies of the,
Yeah, it's just that will form their opinion of them. Where like he's never worked really with reality, right? Where, like, he's based on like Inglourious Basterds being the closest thing, where it was like
which takes a left turn somewhere at the end there.
It's funny. My friend's like, I hated it. I'm like, why? He's like, because they killed Hitler. And I'm like, yeah.
Spoiler!
I'm like, oops,
he kind of deserves it.
Yeah, I'm like. But it's he goes, yeah, I just couldn't get on board once they killed Hitler. And I'm like,
what, did you want him to live in?
How dare they kill Hitler?
He was just like, well, I heard it was based on a true story. And I'm like, it was based on, like, the premise.
Can we isolate just that sentence?
I know.
I didn't like it because they killed Hitler. Wait.
Once they killed Hitler, it was just like, what the?
It went up.
He was my favorite character.
Bold font, just.
What? You can't kill Hitler. You can't kill Hitler. You literally can't. That's the thing. Everyone that goes in time paradoxes, they're like, well, if I had time powers, I'd go back and kill Hitler. You can't do that. It would mess up the rest of the whole, like, last 80 years of life. Because it's like, you wouldn't exist probably if Hitler didn't exist and did what he did, because
Wait, what?
Okay, so CP goes back and kills Hitler. All those people that went to the war don't go to the war because there's no war. So people who died never died. People who got married because those other people died now don't get married because those other people are. No, you guys, this timeline does not exist anymore. There's a whole different timeline.
And then Biff owns a casino.
Yeah, it's that. It's you can't literally kill. You can't go back in time and kill Hitler as much as we all want to, because it messes up everything now.
Can we go back and slap Hitler? Can we do that? At least?
You could probably go back and slap him. You just walk up to him and be like, "Hi."
Slap him. You can name him. You know, give him a peg leg.
In the history books.
Dress him up as a pirate.
Then someone came up and slapped Hitler, and they went into a broom closet and were never seen again. We don't understand what happened there.
Right. And Dennis owns Best Buy.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention
it's just it's one of those things, right? You can't mess with that much history. Like it's a weird thing. Like whenever anyone goes, well, what would be your superpower? I'd be like, oh, time and space for sure. But you can't go back and kill so. I could love to be able to control time and space where I could basically like transport myself anywhere I want and go back in time or future, but you can't go back too long. So it's like when you hear about the guy who shoots up the school, you can go back, wait, all the news reports, figure out who he is, go back a week and pick that guy up and drop him off in the middle of the ocean. You can do that because then like it's only been a week's worth of stuff that's messed up, but you can't go back 40 years and mess with crap because the whole butterfly effect would kill everything. So it's like there's only so much you can do with that without messing up the entire world.
So if you go back and stop the school shooter and then the people he would have killed turn out to be even worse, then at least you find that out later.
You might find that out later and be able to stop them.
Well, what about this? What if... All right, no, this is way too deep.
It is a paradox. It folds in on itself sooner or later, but I'd also win the lottery if I had that power too. So it's just
that would be handy.
It's I don't have to work.
I agree with whenever someone says, "What would your superpower be?" It'd be teleportation, Nightcrawler type stuff, and that's it.
Yeah,
just stand next to the safe.
Well, that's involved in time and space. So it's like if you control time and space, it's like Hero from Heroes, the Japanese guy from Heroes. Hero from Hero. I'm like, wow, that was stupid, but yeah, literally. So it's like because if you only control time, that's great. You can pause time, but if you wanted to go to England, I literally have to have everything frozen and me walk to England because nothing would be working. So like pausing time is only it's not like the Flash where I could run that fast. No, I could pause it and make it look like I'm that fast, but in reality, I'd have to walk that far, and I'm really lazy, and there's no way I'm doing it. So, like, if you could just, teleport there, it's like you blink there and you're there. That's why it's like time and space. So you can control where you want to be, and not just time, because then you also end up in the stuck of like, well, I'm going backwards in time, but I'm in the exact spot where I'm standing and stuff. So,
well, can you go back and forth?
Yeah.
You go back, get Jesus Christ, bring him to Hitler, and then see what happens.
That messes up everything.
Fight.
Jesus takes him, puts him on the cross.
Jerry Falwell, Jesus Christ, Hitler, all walk into a bar together.
Wait. It's kind of odd to bring Jesus into the equation when I believe Jewish people do not believe he existed. It's kind of
most of them that's why as far as I know. They believe he existed as a human being. They just didn't exist.
Didn't they rat him out? Isn't that?
Well, no, one guy.
No, he's
not Judas. I thought.
No. Well, the High Council wanted him dead. Yes. So if we're gonna you want literal stuff, yes. They believed he's a human being and stuff. They just don't believe he was actually.
Yeah, but God. You don't want to bring just a human being to Hitler, surely. You want him to have all his divine powers.
Yeah.
No.
Even though Jesus.
Well, unless he might just forgive him, so you won't. Right. That's not what you.
Right. The power of forgiveness.
He's going to show up and be like, "It's okay, Care Bear stare." And it's like,
well,
you're good.
Care Bear stare. Wolf brought it up. Jesus is a Jew, so you get him and.
Well, yeah, true.
So that would be a. So you want to do what to Jews now?
You probably just watch him. Probably just shocked a bunch of people in the Middle East of America. What do you mean Jesus is a Jew? I had no clue.
Yeah, let me see what it.
God
knows what's going on in the chat. Yeah, we
got. I don't know how we got here. I'm sorry. I messed up your thing.
No, it's fine.
We can go back to James Franco being a bad actor, right?
Oh yeah. Let me catch this up.
Is Jim Franco a bad actor?
Hold on.
Sometimes.
Trump does own a casino. Oh wait, Biff, my bad. At least freezing time keeps you in shape. Yeah. I don't think the time cops will let. Ooh, time cops. That's another good time travel movie. Gonna be a mind fuck if people see you fat 1 second, skinny the next. Damn. Oh man, if we just make like a universe of all time travel movies, that'd be pretty bad. How about Jesus with a net?
Okay.
Then he can put it over Hitler and laugh.
Jesus with a net for the win.
Okay, so
why would you put Jesus with a net? Frankie's gonna get pissed.
We'll get a delay.
Exactly where I went. I'm like, okay. It's like, yeah.
Peter, your thoughts on The Disaster Artist? Have you seen the trailer?
I saw the trailer. Now I've never seen The Room. I know. I don't have it. I've looked for a copy of it. I can't find it. I probably have to go online.
They're surprisingly expensive. I think my friend has my copy, so maybe I can ask him to rip it for you.
Yeah, I've just never watched it.
She means she'll get you a link to the site where you can buy it. Is what she means.
Yes, where I can buy it legally.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what I meant.
In any way. Yeah, I've never seen I've never seen a copy, right? So it's like I've just never I've seen little bits and pieces. Of course, everyone's seen the whole. I did not. You know.
Oh hi Mark.
Seen it, so.
Yeah, hi Mark. Everyone's seen that scene, even if they when I used to watch Chris Stuckman, he did a big review of The Room, so I learned a bunch about it on that.
I can't talk about it. So anyway, how's your sex life?
Yeah, it's one of those things. The trailer made me laugh, and I'm not going to mention the other thing, so no drinking. But my wife had never heard of The Room at all. See people laughing at it. But so I showed her the scene of. I did not. And then we watched the trailer because she had no reference for it at all.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so the second she saw that and then saw the trailer, she was dying laughing. Especially when the whole crew starts repeating it back to him.
Yeah.
It's just like, I did
not.
Bullshit, I did not. It's like, oh, hi, Mark. So it looks funny. I desperately want to see the first one before I see
I hope they hammer that element home. Keep it funny.
If the film can make me kind of understand the man himself, I'll be happy. But I'm not sure if that's happening. I know the guy has a YouTube channel. That's fascinating.
They're in a new movie. I think it's called Best Friends or something like that. But the R is in parentheses. Best Fiends with a fucking R. I don't know. Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau. And Tommy Wiseau is like a fucking weirdo who drives a hearse because Tommy Wiseau.
Of course.
But apparently an actual filmmaker's directing it because you have establishing shots and wide shots. And
that was actually my dream car when I was in high school.
A hearse?
Yeah.
Well, they were going to say Tommy
Wiseau. You just wanted to hold up traffic.
like a 1950s Lincoln style hearse,
My buddy wanted one of those. He wanted to put one of those foam rubber hands sticking out of the back door.
Help written on the back of the window in blood.
Yeah, help me.
Not dead.
Big old hand with the bloody paw print on the window.
Yeah. Maybe a fingernail.
Yeah.
So, wait. Well, why don't you tell us about Atomic Blonde before we segue into the big topic of the show?
Has anyone? I know that you, but Pete, have you seen Atomic Blonde?
No, I was gonna see it tonight, but then we decided we're gonna go see War of the Planet of the Apes anyways. So
I'll get it.
That's for me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so Wolf is preoccupied, so I'll wait, Jesus with a net. Jesus with a shotgun. Jesus with a shotgun versus Hobo with a shotgun. There's a movie.
Yeah, I couldn't get through that one.
Emily trying to have folks arrested for piracy? No, she just kind of fucked herself over, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, hi, doggy.
If I'm not in the next stream, then I've probably gone to prison.
The man's.
When she said "rip it," she meant physically rip it.
Here's your half.
Just tear it out of his hands.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Wes is best friend.
Breast is friends.
looks like
it's a different movie.
It could be interesting why Zoe could probably come across as a pretty creepy figure if directed properly, assuming he listens to instructions. Deliberately creepy. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think for everything I've seen of him, I don't think he really has to be directed to be creepy. That's kind of where he is.
A GoFundMe for Emily's bail.
Oh, thank you.
Uncle Don. And never mind. Are you with us, Wolf? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So Atomic Blonde. It's directed. You brought this up earlier, but it is directed by the guy that made John Wick.
Is it?
You said it's John. Yeah, it's directed by the guy. Charlize Theron plays a agent. It's set in 1989, 10 days before the Berlin Wall falls, and it all takes place between East and West Berlin, where they've got to get a MacGuffin. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but you know.
I already heard
James
McAvoy.
That's fine. Yeah, but James McAvoy, John Goodman, Toby Jones are all in this. Yeah. John Goodman plays a CIA director.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last time I've seen John Goodman in a movie where I was like, no. I don't.
Evan Almighty.
Oh, Emily. Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
That's a brilliant portrayal. Like, come on, it's an awesome film.
But a lot of people are finding the plot confusing, but to be honest, the movie starts out in the past, and then they leapfrog 10 days forward and to the present, which is 1989. No matter past or present, it's 1989. And
it's the present of the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's past. It's present.
And
time travel.
It's Charlize Theron telling her story, what happened while she was over in Germany, doing the agent thing. And I love this movie. The thing I loved about it is the director he stood back and let the fights happen with the action sequences. It's not that quick cuts slapped together, get in close so you don't know what's going on in the fight type of thing, and then it's over and you go, It's all stand back. It's 1970s action to me. It's the way the 70s and 80s action films are done, where they just stood back and you watch Chuck Norris kick someone's ass, or Bruce Lee kick someone's ass, and you get to see the swings and the punches and all that. And there's a fight. There's a fight in a hallway. It starts out in an apartment and winds up in a hallway that is just insane. And the whole fight must last like 7 minutes. But in between this, you see them falling down and taking breaths, and you can tell that they're kind of exhausted. But overall, I really love this movie. This is much better than I thought Dunkirk was the week before. So.
Oh my God! I forgot Peter is here.
It's okay.
No. Listen, I haven't seen Dunkirk, but man, did Wolf shit on it last week. And
yeah, I didn't actually get to hear that part last week. I'm on vacation right now. That's the only reason I'm here. Usually I'm at work till 4. So I was just like, oh, they're live right now. It's like, look at that. So yeah, I didn't catch it to the end. So I didn't hear anything that he said about Dunkirk. But I'm okay if people don't like Dunkirk. I just thought it was brilliant. But
my final assessment was I will never pay to see another Christopher Nolan film.
Oh wow. My final assessment was I'm going to buy every single one of them on Blu-ray I can. But it's just that doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Exactly.
I got into a Twitter, not a debate or something, with Tyrell from.
Tyrell, listen.
CP. Yeah, Tyrell, listen, and he was.
What were you gonna say?
He was. No, I couldn't remember his last name. He was answering a question like, it says, "Is Nolan the quintessential director of the 2000s?" Which I'm like, he could be hypothetically, and he's like, definitely not, and and so I was like, okay, then who is? And he was like, P.T. Anderson, the Coen brothers. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But and then so we went back and forth, and I basically was like, listen, the way, and you mentioned Fincher, which would probably be the closer one than the other two, but to me it was like everything he was saying about where he was like, that he doesn't like about Nolan. I was just like, yeah, I feel all the same way about the other guys you're talking about. I said, so we're neither one of us are going to win this. Like, I'm not going to sway you. You're not going to sway me. And I'm like, it's cool. And he's just like, well, in 40 years, we'll know. He goes, in 40 years, he thinks Nolan's films will all be forgotten. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I said, we'll see in 40 years. You know, it's like, whatever.
My question, when I did my mobile movie review for Dunkirk, my question was, Christopher Nolan, cinematic genius or hack? And when the review is over, I mean, I've only liked like 3 of his movies. I mean, truly, really liked them, and that's
which ones?
Insomnia, Inception, and Interstellar.
All the eyes.
All the eyes, yeah.
The triple I factor, yeah. And everything else, I didn't care for Memento. I hated the fact that it started at the end and went backwards.
Well, some of it didn't go backwards. Some of it was going forwards, just to complicate things.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
I forgot. We're talking heavy spirits here. I gotta make sure I get the chat.
And I really didn't care for it. I mean, I like Batman Begins, but other than that, I think The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises were just garbage. You know?
Peter, thoughts?
I'm cool with. I vehemently disagree.
Mm-hmm.
But I am. It is funny. There's certain things like I'm a firm believer in certain things about film and certain films and the way I love them and stuff and the way I hate certain films. Mm-hmm. And when I was younger, I would have probably tried to bite your head off and tried to rip you apart. I'm older now. I don't do that anymore as much. It is funny when people tell me, "Oh, my favorite film is Now You See Me," and it's so great. And I'm like, okay, to talk. But you know, if Nolan seems to be a director that people either love him or really don't like him and kind of hate him and kind of just Tyrell once said, he goes, "I've found his trick. I don't like him anymore." And I was like, what is his trick? Making awesome movies? And he's just like, no, he does this. And I'm just like, I don't see it. And he's just like, yeah, that's what he does every film. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, but he's very divisive in that. And I love his films. So he hasn't made a bad one in my opinion.
Am I the only one who's kind of Nolan ambivalent? It's
well,
not fine.
There's those people too, right? I find either people that have real strong film taste either think he's brilliant or think he's a hack. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, if you think he's a hack, that's cool. It's like, don't tell me Michael Bay is better.
Hacking is its own skill. I have a certain amount of respect for people who can put out bad movies and get away with it.
I would never say that Michael Bay is better.
Well,
it's just to the point where, you know, I can honestly say I've been watching movies for 45 years, and in that time, I've seen some directors come and go that it's really weird that, like Michael Cimino, you know, who did The Deer Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Name another movie that he did that was as good as that. I thought The Deer Hunter was a great movie, but his filmography is going to be pretty much that he's going to be remembered for.
I'm sorry, call a spade a spade. Deer Hunter, what do you think of when you think of Deer Hunter? You think of Meow and nothing else.
Think of what?
Meow.
You're talking about
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I see.
I don't think of the hour leading up to it. Much that happened
really?
After it. All right, so I could be wrong. All right, so
my favorite scene in that whole movie is when they go on the hunting trip.
In the beginning.
And they pull off.
Do they hunt deer?
Yeah, you're about
they
45
hunt deer.
minutes into it.
Oh, right, yeah.
They actually hunt deer.
Educated guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite scene where the John Cazale wants to use Robert De Niro's spare boots, and he's like, this whole speech, this whole diatribe that they go into about everything that he forgets whenever they go on a hunting trip. You know, that's the scene I remember from Deer Hunter. You know.
All right. Well, I certainly could be wrong.
Well, it's just camaraderie. You know.
I remember that. Like, you know what I remember most from Deer Hunter, other than the shooting, the Russian roulette scene, is for me, I didn't know anything about Deer Hunter going in. I didn't even know it was a war movie.
Mm-hmm.
All I knew was that when I used to work in a store that sold videos, that it was a double video because it was so freaking long, and that's all I knew about it. And I started watching it, and like it wasn't until 10 minutes in, I'm like, holy crap. And then I couldn't think of his name, and it's what's his name? Christopher Walken. Because he's so freaking young, and I'm like, I've never seen Christopher Walken look young before, because like I'd only ever seen him.
And you never will again.
Yeah, and he's not Christopher Walken yet.
He's not Christopher Walken yet. He doesn't have, like, you can see parts of it, but he's not that guy yet. And it's just like, I was like, holy crap, I didn't even recognize him. It's like, so that Deer Hunter has that for me.
Oscar for that movie.
Did he really?
Yeah, best supporting actor.
Good for him.
He's never been that caliber of an actor again. That's the sad. I love Christopher Walken, but now he's a character.
I like him in the Dead Zone.
Dead Zone's really good.
Dead Zone's really good, but it wasn't there. You know,
I liked him in Seven Psychopaths. I thought he.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
very good in that.
It was so. He has scenes in that which are so funny. Like he has this whole scene where he's talking about cutting his throat. But the best scene is when like the guy's like. He's like, I got a gun. He's like, I don't care. He's like, he's like, no, because he just doesn't care. He's like, go ahead and shoot me. I don't care. Yeah, it's a great movie. I love that movie.
No, I like the fact that you can accept that not everybody likes her.
Not everyone's gonna like. I think personally Nolan makes exceptional movies. That's me. Every movie I've watched of his, other than probably. I would say Insomnia, and because I need to really watch it again. But Insomnia is the only movie of his that isn't his movie,
right?
Because it's a remake.
That's a remake of a Swedish film.
It's like it's like he did Memento, and the studio kind of went, okay, we've seen what you've done with a little budget, and this.
Let's see what you do with something else.
Let's see what you can do with Al Pacino and Robin Williams in a remake that we want to make. Let's see if you can do that, and he kind of did that. Because it was like, okay, I'll do what you want. And then it was like, okay, you're talented. And then he went, how about Batman? And it's like, Batman was in such a disarray state that they kind of went, well, you know what? He couldn't do worse than the last guy. So
exactly, yeah.
It's, it's just.
Who was the last guy? Was it Tim Burton or was there someone in between?
Schumacher.
Oh, yes, Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, and which killed it, which is one of those things where at the time I hated it and I still hate it and stuff, but if it hadn't happened, I don't think they ever would have allowed Nolan to do what he did, because he's like, I want to present an ultra realistic, like toned down crime gritty Batman. And they would have gone, no, it's like it's kids. And he's like, no, crime film. And they're at the point when it was so badly received and they figured the character couldn't be used anymore. They just went, what's we got to lose? This, like, give him what he wants. And
if he screws it up, we'll reboot it yet again and yet again and yet again until it takes, hold.
Yeah. And meanwhile, he made, in my opinion, a great trilogy. Wolfman, not so much, but that's okay. Yeah. So
more people that don't, more people than don't think share your opinion.
It's the thing. Like I think he's a brilliant filmmaker, but that's just, I also don't understand half the stuff that like a lot of people, like Tyrell being a guy, he's way smarter than me in film. So he
brings up Paul Thomas Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson, Boogie Nights, the one after Boogie Nights, Magnolia, and Oil.
Oh, There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, you can maybe argue Punch Drunk Love, but I don't know. You want to talk about gimmicky? I think he's a little gimmicky too.
Yeah, to some degree, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I think out of the three that you mentioned, There Will Be Blood is probably the better of the three.
Yeah. I mean, if you just drain away everything about the stories of Boogie Nights and Magnolia, they look very similar. Like he does these same, like he does that weird moving the camera, like it's neat. It's a nice way to keep talking looking like something, but
well, you know, it's tension 101. It's the way move the camera in slowly. It's
for the record, Peter said that, not me. I don't want to get in trouble with Lee for that.
I love Lee, so that's okay.
Listen, I equally do. It's just people are gonna fucking rat me out in killer flicks, and then I gotta some explaining to do.
I'm not on killer flicks, so they can rat me out all day long. I don't even know what they're saying.
Peter, did you see? For some reason, I stumbled across our Twilight stream.
Yes, yeah, I saw that you posted part of it. It's just like, oh my lord!
I forgot that we had that nice little exchange about how the baseball scene looked like a tampon commercial.
Yes, that was really funny. How I watched that. I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling fresh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to deviate to such a bizarre moment.
It was funny.
So Emily had a topic that is kind of contrary to something we were talking about 2 weeks ago, which is stupidest characters in horror, or contrivance versus stupidity. Excuse me, was the exact.
That was actually our first episode.
Was it our first episode?
Yeah,
Wow.
A whole 4+ weeks ago. But
actually 5 weeks ago because we took the 4th off.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Five
so 5 weeks ago.
But Emily, do you want to present it? Because
okay, so what I was thinking was most competent or over-prepared characters in film, horror or otherwise. The hero, villain, doesn't matter.
Go ahead and lead in with your choice.
I guess Jigsaw is my first choice because that man has children outside.
That man has children outside.
Children outside.
What a terrible Saw movie.
If you make it outside.
I like playing games.
You want to play the game?
If you can escape the trap, you'll have to face children outside.
They love the
give
belly
you a piece of candy.
That's a whole other movie.
Sorry, we all just stomped on you, Emily. Go ahead. Actually, no, you just stomped on yourself.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. So yeah, the man has a pretty wide range of skills. I mean, aside from making the traps, he has to get the warehouses in the first place, set everything up, make the puppets, set up the cameras, just direct everybody, get his people in pig masks to do the capturing.
I mean, wasn't Amanda also one of his minions that
prodigies? Yeah. Well, sure, but she was kind of indoctrinated later on. I mean, even before we meet Amanda, he's got a whole load of stuff that he set up all by himself.
I guess that could
and
count
as a guy who's dying of cancer, how does he have the fucking time or patience or energy or inclination to do half this stuff? Yeah.
It's giving him a reason to live.
Even though he is not going to
kill
ultimately.
To kill other people.
Or let them
probably set all the traps up, you know, years, honestly, when he first found out he was dying, he's like, okay, years in advance, he's like, set everything up. You know, knew ahead of time, you know, who he wanted to trap, or if he dies tomorrow, you know, whatever.
I think in the timeline around films 3 and 4, he has 5 separate traps going on at the same time, which is an insane amount of preparation and just pulling shit together and making. We never see where he makes his traps, I don't think. So, yep.
Never mind the fact that he just holds his breath throughout part 1. That's impressive.
That's the real trick.
He was with the Royal Shakespeare Company.
The key to
they
that.
teach you how to do that shit.
He went to Lamaze class. He learned shallow breathing. You know?
Just practicing with the cube trap.
This is going to shock you guys. I've never seen any Saw movie.
What?
Well, okay, I've seen half of the first one.
Which half?
And the first
then
half.
I kind of spoiled some stuff for you.
No, I know what happens. I know what happens. It got spoiled longer for me.
If anything, the first one is the ending's quite.
Yeah, I've actually seen the very ending part where he reveals himself. But I didn't see it. Like, I got halfway through it, and then I didn't stop because I didn't want to see it. I just had to go do something, and then I just never got back. I'd taken it out of the library and just never got back to it.
We're on quite a string of half movies in this stream.
And then, like, I'll be honest, I don't like torture movies in general. So, like, the second one, third one, fourth, like, they just kept on, like...
The first one's probably the closest to 7, but
yeah,
it gets pretty gnarly.
It was just like, this is just ways to kill people really violently. I don't want to watch that. It's like I'll watch you guys beat the crap out of each other, but I don't want to watch a guy who's like got like a saw blade coming towards his head. He has no chances of getting on. I'm just gonna see him sliced in half. It's like, no. So yeah, I've never actually watched any of the other ones. So I know roughly what they're all about because I've seen so much. Like, you know, you can't get away from it and stuff, and it's pop culture now. But
oh, yeah. There's an 8th one coming out pretty soon. So if you want to see that one,
yeah.
He's been dead for 10 years, but
it's like, oh, you know,
they have his blood.
Like, in the afterlife, I have lots of time too, so that would be
some
cool.
kind of lightning rod accident is going to bring him back.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the trailer for the new one?
What's that?
Has anyone seen the trailer for the new one?
I have.
No, not yet.
I saw. Is it the one where the 5 people have like things on their head and are being pulled by a chain to something?
Yeah, and
yeah, okay, I saw it.
They found his blood.
Yeah, I saw something. Like I think I saw it. I think I saw the whole thing, and it was just like, oh, look, another Saw movie. It was just like, didn't he die and isn't it over? But you know, no, because
he died 4 movies ago.
Yeah.
Yes, one of his victims goes to the cemetery, and he has to be sure. So he drives
so
him.
He pulls out a wrought iron from the fence.
Yeah.
Stabs in the heart. Horseshack shows up somewhere.
Yep, and then lightning strikes, and
there's a hockey mask.
Keep stabbing him until he can't.
My heart can't take much more of this.
Yeah.
See, that's brilliant. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's how you make a movie.
That's it. Yeah.
That
could fall into like one of those big franchises. I don't know.
Wolf,
right.
Go ahead, Pete.
No, I was going to say, so we're doing like super over-prepared characters. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were a little unprepared, so you might as well take a breath here.
Irony.
I got one, but I'll go last.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm going last. So.
All right, go ahead, Wolf.
I want to see if I got someone better.
Well, we were talking about this, and I will throw it out there that Batman, you know, I mean, the guy, if you read the comics, I mean, honestly, the guy is a freaking genius in the comics. He's taken like every form of martial art, every style of wrestling, every boxing, you know,
even
he knows how to fight. Yep, every kind of wrestling.
Especially.
I'd like to see him in the ring.
But yeah, no, he knows how to defend himself, and he's a lot of the stuff that was the stuff that was made was him making the gadgets for himself, because he's also a scientist. He's a detective. You know, Ra's al Ghul refers to him as a detective because he's considered to be one of the greatest detectives. So yeah, he's way over compensated.
So,
yeah, I remember the Final Destination. That's another good one.
Yes, that's where I was going. Death is one of the most overprepared characters.
Dead Gamer 773 says it was perfect. This is commenting 101. It has so many layers.
Yes.
So there's another. That's like infested with Lee references. That whole sentence right there.
I wasn't going to say the layers part.
Yeah, layers, Makamaras. Final Destination, towards the end, the main character, Alex, I think, ends up being crazy, prepared, and wrapping everything safely to the point where he's near untouchable until someone else intervenes.
And even then, there's things in his safety shed that are creeping slowly towards me. He's like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
there's a harpoon he forgot not to stack up against the wall.
Yeah, it's like that, and then there's like a fishing hook that doesn't have a cork on it, you know? It's like, he's like, I'm set, and yet it's like, dude, it just needs to be all wrapped in saran wrap.
Daniel Hammond says, first saw is good, the rest are shit fest in my opinion. Mr. Movie says, I got to 3 and got bored. Daniel Hammond says, Jigsaw actually looks pretty good, though. And then Daniel Hammond says, the collector is overly prepared. I want to jump on this because I recently just watched this. Dennis and I kind of did a twofer over the last
with the second one.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, Collector and Collection.
Yeah, I've never seen either. I've seen trailers for both of them.
So the Collector, just take Home Alone and Saw.
Yeah,
basically, yeah.
That is your movie, and I prefer the first one, to be honest with you, because the second one, if any of you,
second one gets weird.
You know what I thought of in the first 10 minutes? Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's a lot of stuff happening right there at once. But the first one, yeah, I'll agree with you, Daniel. The guy sets up the house like, grown-up Macaulay Culkin there. And what's there, 3 people in the house? 4 people in the house. Wolf, anybody? Emily, have you seen it?
I think it's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the husband, wife, daughter, and then daughters.
Yeah.
Right, the robber. Right.
And then the guy.
Right. So maybe it's 5 or 6. But
actually, I saw the Collector, the Collector the first time, and I didn't care for it. The first time I saw it, I just was like, ah. And then it went on sale like a couple years later. On I don't know if it was Black Friday, if it was a sale, but I got the movie for like next to nothing, and so I watched it again. I wanted to really love it. I just need to watch more than once.
I can't, Dennis. I can't share that.
Oh, not Dennis.
But would you say he's the Collector? I would say he's pretty well prepared.
Yeah.
That's a good call there, Daniel. I quite agree. As much as I want to know more about that character, I rather agree with that.
And I actually liked the second movie. I mean, not as much as the first one, but I really did. I liked it. It gets really weird. But
I had a hard time with Terry from Wayne's World being the guy that we had to follow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love you, man. Oh, I love you. That guy is like this fucking Navy SEAL or some shit in the second one. It's just like, I can't stop seeing the I love you, man from Wayne's World. It just took me out of it. I don't know. It didn't take me completely out of it. I just couldn't take him quite as seriously. But as far as picture, like the movie almost looks 5 times cleaner, more polished. The first one's a little independent looking, and the second one's quite clean.
You got to admit, I mean, at least for a second one, the story's there. I mean, it's not just that.
Yeah, I
mean, I get what you're saying about the actor. I'm just saying, but the story itself, it works.
Yeah, I'd like a little more motive from the guy. I mean, it's all right. So the first one, we don't know much about him. He's just trapping people in a house. So the second one, why? If he's a collector, why wipe out the amount of people he did in the second, like, opening scene of the second film? There's no collecting there. That's just.
Well, he's a nut job. We know that because he collects people.
Well, I'd like to know what, like, so he's a.
He only likes collecting certain things. They got to be particular. He's racist, is what we're saying.
He's
a racist. He only collects certain people, and those other people didn't fit the qualities. And
he doesn't like Inglourious Bastards because.
Are there people out there going, "Oh, I didn't make the cut"?
Yeah. Man, I wish I could have got collected. I was going to be limited edition. It was going to be so good, but no. Racist.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you see what he does with the...
Where's Jesus with a net when you need him? So.
When I die, will you preserve me and put me in a Ziploc bag on the wall? What, nothing?
Okay.
Just
I was going to say, I just met you, Emily, but if that's your wish, I guess, but,
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Can we start to go Can we start the GoFundMe for that? That's going to be hard to do. But
Mail and Ziploc bags.
no, but you got to suck all the air out of it.
Yeah. I'd suck all the air out. That's going to look terrible.
Well, isn't it? I don't know. I didn't see the movie, so I can't see exactly what he did.
But we got to make sure she's got her blue lipstick on, you know.
Peter, do you have was your choice Final Destination?
Well, the death from Final Destination is super overprepared, but that doesn't really count because he's deaf. So I'll go with a weird choice, but I just watched again Red. If you've watched Red, which is like a
Bruce Willis?
stupid, yeah.
Okay.
John Malkovich's character is super overprepared for everything. He has like
He's
5
super
cell
paranoid
phones.
too.
Yeah, he's super paranoid, so he's super overprepared for everything. So he's got like 5 cell phones all taped to each other that he like works on, and it like goes through 5 different things. And then he lives in like the car underground, and like even when he jumps out, he's got a crossbow, and like Bruce Willis grabs the crossbow and he's like, "Okay, we friends?" And he's like, "Yes." He goes, "Can you take the knife out of my balls then?" And it's like he's got this giant knife sitting in his balls. So it's just like he's very overprepared for everything. It's like, and then like he brings a pig which has a grenade launcher. Like he just seems very, very overly prepared for life and what might be coming his way.
His attitude, he goes, "Oh, I'm getting a pig."
He goes, "I'm getting a pig." So
yeah, they show up at his place and the house is right there. Like, okay, let's go in, and they like start heading towards the house, and he walks towards the hood of this like '53 Chevy, and he lifts the hood up. And it's a weird bomb shelter.
House is downstairs. What are you talking about? That's the decoy. It's like, so yeah, I think he's super overprepared, rightly so to some degree, because it's like
absolutely.
People are trying to kill him, but it's like
the little pig doll. That's
like he grabs the woman in the airport. And he's like, "She's following me." Yeah. Meanwhile, she was following them. It's like he was right. So later he's like, "Can I kill her now?" So I think like just because I saw that movie recently again, I was just like, yeah, he's kind of super prepared, and like death doesn't count because death.
So I'm convinced Dennis has a cup to the wall because he literally just said something we were talking about before we went live.
He's like, Bruce Willis.
No.
Bruce Willis in Die Hard is super overprepared because he didn't wear shoes.
So he brought up John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is something we were talking about before we went live. And yes, he's a doomsday prepper.
He's overly prepared, but he didn't kind of picture that.
Luckily, he turned out to be right.
Yeah. Did he though? Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I know. we kind of get a bit of a.
I think he even has the alien theory correct. As bizarre as that was.
Yeah.
I mentioned it in the review, but it's convinced me that I wouldn't want to be in a bunker with the kind of person who builds one.
Yeah, probably. Like, you have a bunker. You're probably not going to be good company.
I stand corrected. Dennis says he wasn't home before we went live. So
Twilight Zone.
Because that's the reason.
Now you have a bat cave. That's completely different. With bunkers, yes.
Bat cave.
Yeah, that's completely different. I'll hang out with that guy any day of the week.
So,
bat caves and bunkers sounds like a bad country song.
I think a way that they show it in a movie, Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon, is quite interesting. Although, what, Peter?
Zion's standing right here, going, "What are you doing?" And she won't come on camera because she's too afraid.
Oh.
So, you're not. No more popcorn. No.
Why not?
Because.
Come on, Dad.
They can hear you.
Okay, I want popcorn.
Live. This is a live stream, so.
Cool, I want popcorn.
I've got popcorn
later,
if she wants.
Oh, Emily's got popcorn if you want to say hi.
There's popcorn.
I know there's popcorn right there. Go away.
Yeah.
You can have 3 fingers of popcorn.
Oh wait, so that's
Which 3?
It wasn't a reference to your daughter, but it was.
Yeah.
like to grab with 3 fingers?
Does she realize that we're talking to an audience here and not?
I know. I told her. She's like, just come on. She won't shut up.
Where is the salt? No.
No. Okay, shut up. I love you. Go away.
Shut up, I love you. It's how to start and end a fight in 1 sentence.
Oh yeah, so he's laying the law down. Daddy's getting pissed.
No, I just said please shut up.
For using your manners.
Yeah, I said please. Okay.
So before we got started, we kind of discussed the whole Hannibal Lecter series.
Oh, I've never seen those films.
Right. which if you want to see Peter and I comment on all of them, there's certainly a wide. Poor Peter got. Which one did you get? You got the shitty one.
I got the worst one ever, which was like
Hannibal Rising.
In Love or whatever it was. I don't know. With his aunt. I don't know. It's just it was terrible.
It's all right. I got the second shittiest one. I got Hannibal.
Yeah.
And then Lee got Red Dragon, and of course Brian got Silence of the Lamb.
Silence of the Lamb.
Because reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But quite intuitive. Hannibal could be argued, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he got caught though.
Well, he had disadvantages.
He's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how, like in Silence of the Lambs, how he manages to get himself out of that cage in the middle of the room is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that over preparedness or is that more just inventiveness in the situation?
I mean,
how did the rubber band just snap?
Before we went live, I mentioned the whole getting hold of Will Graham's address by way of a phone, and I think it's because of the times Manhunter and Red Dragon came out. They had to devise 2 different ways for him to do that. So does that count?
Yeah, that counts. I actually think I like Silence of the Lambs. I've seen it, but I really love Red Dragon, so I'm going to stick up for that movie.
Yeah, Red Dragon's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love Young Hannibal in Love. That's the best one.
Young Hannibal in Love.
And I like Manhunter.
Yeah, sure you do. So much so you gave away your still like. I liked Manhunter, but
young William Peterson.
I'm going to be half kidding when I say this, but Buffalo Bill was quite.
Would you?
I mean, to know that chick's going to be there and to do the whole couch charade.
Yeah.
I mean that. And he knew she was about a size 14, which plays into his little. Yeah,
if he can look at a woman and tell what size he is, he should probably be a tailor or something.
You got a size 14.
And he is kind of being a tailor. It's a bodysuit.
It's a bodysuit.
Yeah, that's true.
He also has that well in his basement. Like that's
that was there already, right? Like he didn't dig that.
Do we know that? Do we know that?
I'm guessing he didn't. I'm guessing that crazy tailor lady who had cats probably did.
I mean, he sets up the basket on a string to lower the lotion.
Yeah. He gets all the. He's a moth breeder as well.
Sounds like you said he's a mouth breather. He's a mouth breather. Because he's just a mouth breather. Probably too. Probably does that.
To speak like that, I would assume so. Would you?
Dude, if I could program my phone for everything I ever get from CP, if it would go, would you? I totally would.
Brian, I can't reference any sort of Hannibal anything, and Brian, he needs to hear me do. Would you? Sorry. In case you're lost at home, the scene where he's loading the van. She goes, "Do you know how with that?" Yeah. He goes, "Would you?" It's a line nobody knows, but
it's a throwaway line that we have obsessed about way too much. It is funny. Have you ever done that where when you were younger, you saw
That's
a movie
all I
and
do.
you loved it, and you're like one line in particular you'll just pick, and it'll stay with you, and then whenever you hear certain things, you'll reference it, and then you'll say it to someone, and they'll be like, "What's that from?"
Yes,
and then
yes,
and then
that's all I do.
And why do you do that? Like, there's a line from Rounders. I don't know if you've ever seen Rounders, but it's Matt, you've never seen Rounders? Matt Damon.
Dude, I worked in that environment. I'm waiting for you to get the line so I can give you the corresponding line that follows.
Really?
Oh, this is exciting.
Oh no, it's not the poker line though. It's
go ahead.
All right, so he there's a thing where Matt Damon's character needs money, and he goes to the one guy and says, "I need $15,000." Do you know what the next line is?
I need a blowjob from Christy Turlington.
So whenever, he's like, "I need a blowjob from Christy Turlington." So whenever anyone goes, "I need this," in my head, I go, "I need a blowjob from Christy Turlington." It's like, and I told my wife, and whenever she hears anyone go, "I need this," she just kind of looks at me and smiles because she knows exactly what I'm thinking, because it's like it's a small throwaway line.
Not to me, it's not. I'm right there with you.
It's stuck with me the rest of my life. It's like just little things like, it's like stuff from Big Trouble in Little China and stuff like that, So like just throwaway lines that like they mean stuff to you, but they don't mean anything to anybody else in talking about.
Dude, that's every movie for me.
Yeah. That happens with movies and music for me. It's like I'll hear someone just say a line, I'm like, oh my god, and all of a sudden I'm transported back to when I listened to something like by Motley Crue back in the 80s or something.
Like, and it's even not like from great movies. Like there's Jet Li's The One, where Jason Statham yells 30 seconds. He's like, 30 seconds. So everyone's like, how much time is there? And I was like, 30 seconds. And it's just such a throwaway line. But it's just like, oh, it's a time-based thing. Yep, 30 seconds. So I don't know.
I do it sometimes. I have stupid ones. Like if I'm in a car on the motorway and I see someone overtake us, I cannot help but hear fucking Griswold saying, "Eat my rubber."
Yeah, I Daredevil, for some ridiculous reason, I all I remember is Bullseye on the plane when he asks for more peanuts, but his accent's just so off. It's just more peanuts, please. I don't know why that's the only line I know from Daredevil, but it's the one thing anytime it has peanuts, I just say it in that weird, whatever the fuck accent he's trying to do there. But
well, the funniest thing is he's supposed to be doing his own accent.
Is he really?
Yeah, and Irish, so when he's Irish, and when he's filming, he kept on dropping his Irish accent. He's like, "What am I doing? I can speak normally for once."
Oh, that's so odd.
Because he's so used to like not speaking with an Irish accent.
That makes it worse.
And it's like he would literally catch himself going, how am I supposed to say this again? It's like, So apparently Charlie Hunnam does that too. Charlie Hunnam, because of doing Sons of Anarchy and doing a bunch of American stuff, literally didn't remember what he sounded like with his own accent. So for doing King Arthur, he had to literally have a speech coach to teach him how to speak English.
You do hear his accent come out in episodes of Sons of Anarchy.
You do, but it's just
there's certain words he'll say, and you're like, okay, that's definitely,
that's a little English accent thrown in there and stuff. But overall, he does a pretty good job dropping it. But he did it so well that he literally forgot what he sounded like. Do
you think Christian Bale has that problem?
Sometimes. Well, apparently he when he does press, if he does press for an American movie, an accent.
Ew.
So
I think I've seen some of that.
Like he literally will talk if he was American in the film for the press junket, he's American, and then he goes apparently back to speaking. He's got like a little bit of a Welsh. He's born in Wales, but he was raised in England for most of it. So he's got mostly English kind of accent and stuff. So when apparently he drops it really easy, but yeah, he'll for the whole press junket, he'll speak like he's American, which messes people up because you're not supposed to do that.
Emily, go ahead.
Who says you're not supposed to?
American Psycho.
What about it?
Go ahead. What line does he fuck up?
Oh yeah, so he talks about listening to the new Robert Palmer tape, and he says it Palmer, not Palmer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that's the one word he fucks up.
Mm. Yeah, because especially if he's a New Yorker, Palmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Palmer.
What I'm learning in speaking to Emily is the R's just float away.
Palmer.
Come on, say it. Say the line.
What? What line? Robert Palmer?
The girl in the garden. Garden. He keeps getting me to say garden.
See, and that goes back to what we were talking about before. People quote Shaun of the Dead and they'll quote, many different things, but I always think of there's a girl in the garden.
There's a girl in the garden.
In the garden, there's a girl.
Whereas you say garden, which is much more normal.
There's a girl in the garden.
Mm-hmm. Going back to this is going to be between Emily and I, unless Peter's seen it.
Is this Red Dwarf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Whenever I hear someone say, "What is it?" or
what is it?
Yeah, I go right to stasis link.
Classic episode.
CP's going, what?
So alienated right now.
I know what Red Dwarf is. I've watched episodes when I was younger. I just don't remember any of it.
So. Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf.
You got to pronounce the W over there.
I think I know what Red Dwarf is.
It's dwarf. What's wrong with you people?
Dwarf. It's a dwarf.
D''W''A. No, OHF.
RPA.
Pronounced the same as chalk or chalk.
Chalk. Oh, accents.
Yep. Why do we even have them?
And this one, my dad is Welsh, like born. He came over to Canada when he was in his like mid-20s, and it wasn't until I didn't know my dad had any kind of accent until I was like in my teens. And my buddy's like, "I love when your dad says certain words," and I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "His accent is great." I'm like, "What accent?" He's like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." So, yeah. Barney being the particular one in particular, he's just like, "Bonnie." I'm like, "What?"
Bonnie, yes.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Because Barney the Purple Dinosaur was a big deal back then.
In the chat, Arnold and Predator was well prepared. And then Mr. Movie counters with the Predator and Predator was well prepared.
I agree.
Arnold didn't seem that well prepared. I mean, most of his team got killed.
No, he was well prepared at the end when he realized that the guy can only see heat. Then he was like, okay.
Mud works as a disguise.
Yeah, then he got well prepared. He set traps up and did all that stuff. Then he became well prepared.
Wes says, I wouldn't call the Predator comparatively well prepared, though. He seems to be carrying his standard loadout for a hunt, and even that has flaws. The main prep item is the bomb. Good point. Christopher Wells says, "Hey, Peter and friends."
That's
interesting.
One of my boys.
I was going to say, welcome to my channel, and
I was like, Chris, how did you find this, dude?
Welcome to the Peter Show on Peter and Friends on the I Like It Review channel.
Yeah, Chris he's one of my boys.
Hello, Chris. So, welcome.
Yeah.
Hi.
It's just that his loadout is way higher in tech than humans. Imagine him with similar items, but our tech level, it'd basically be carrying a hunting cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair point. John Wick is overly prepared. That he has guns.
I don't think so though, because his stuff buried in the basement. So he's
not
right. If they would have shown up like an hour earlier, he would have been screwed. Well, he probably would have took their guns from them and then killed them with them. But still, it's
the stuff. I mean, he'd have still had to dig the stuff out of the basement. I thought I like that point of the movie. Basically, he wants to get out, and so in order to get out, he's got to cover it all in cement.
Oh no, everyone's like, "Why do you bury your guns in the basement?" I'm like, it's symbolic. He's burying his past, but he needs it just in case someone kills his dog. It's like.
Now,
it's like he's expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
I know you got a lot of enemies.
The dog, and they stole his Mustang.
Dennis drops the three letters in Danish language that are not in English, and those are E, U,
Yeah.
What's
the last one, perhaps?
I probably
know
butchered
the
them.
two.
And I certainly fucked them up.
And sometimes why?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the little circle. I thought it was the two dots.
It's the
I feel like we're
Ghostbusters
learning
logo.
something. I feel like we're learning something every week because Dennis is nice enough to tell us that the D is silent in Maz.
Mm-hmm.
Is it silent in Dennis, or should we be calling him Ennis this whole time? Or the D is silent. Ennis.
Good point.
Ennis, the blue corner.
I could go for a Cornetto line and Hot Fuzz. Cornetto line and Hot Fuzz. What's the fucking Cornetto line?
He's eating a cornetto and going, "You want anything from the shop?" We were just at the shop. I was thinking of a different shop. Is that the one?
Probably.
Or is it, no?
See, I remember
that's
fucked up shit from Hot Fuzz when the priest.
Check out his horse.
Look at his horse. The fucking priest gets shot and he goes, "Jesus Christ!"
I love when the farmer's mum turns up.
In Hot Fuzz, he's overly prepared at the end.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He has all the guns, the two guns, and he's like the spray cans for the freaking cameras. And
another
stuff.
set of shades.
Yeah, he's pretty overly prepared. It's like for that.
It's the only thing that I really wish there was more of in Baby Driver, because Baby Driver was just a good movie. It wasn't funny.
It was a great movie. Shut up.
Listen, technically flawless. I just wish I could laugh. I mean there's that one exchange where they're in Halloween masks. That group was probably the funniest part of that movie.
Yeah.
The guy with the tattoo on his neck, which I forget.
The guy who dies. Oh, spoiler.
Yeah. What does he change? He says, "Who doesn't like hugs?" Was that what it was? He used to have thug, and he took out the T and.
No, it was.
What was the tattoo?
Oh no, I don't know.
Why isn't Baby Driver in Uncle Don's arsenal yet? Is my question.
I don't know. Who's Uncle Don? That's my question.
Uncle Don W. Don W. Load.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little dyslexic, but.
All right.
Yeah, Don Load. Just say it fast. Message retracted.
I don't want to.
If John Wick was prepared, he would have trained the dog to stab people with a knife.
Or at least fetch the knives. That's what dogs do, isn't it? Fetch things.
Sure. It's
Sorry,
Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead. Oh yeah, the Cornetto trilogy. That's
yeah. See, I have that in my Blu-ray collection as the 3-flavor Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah,
like it's under T for 3-flavor. It's like, and all three of them are together because it's just that's the way I saw Edgar Wright pronounce it to be, and so I'm like, well, that's what I'm going to call it. It's.
Do you have the triple pack, or do you have three separates?
It's
three separates.
It's from Hate to Hat, and when he's applying for a job, he says, "Who doesn't like hats?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Sick bird equals Uncle Don. Oh, is that the new word for Uncle Don?
I thought the bird was the word.
Well, Uncle Don is.
I'm gonna have that song in my head all day.
No.
You did that on purpose.
Okay.
Tequila.
Where were we? The last.
Overprepared cat.
Oh right, yeah, right.
Overprepared characters. The Mechanic. Have you ever seen The Mechanic, the Jason Statham movie? He's super overprepared in that movie.
Yeah, but so was Charles Bronson in the original.
Yeah, I know. I haven't yet seen that one. I want to. It's on my list to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who brought up Bond before we started?
Bond?
James Bond?
Oh, Bond.
Oh, it was either me or Wolf. I can't remember.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't me. I know that much.
But we agreed he has people who does that for him.
Right. So does that not count then? I guess. Because
he's overprepared on some level, but he has to know how to use things at the right time. I guess. I don't know.
But then, I mean, when you think about it, you think about some of the villains in those movies. I mean,
Yeah, like he doesn't have a Shark Tank with lasers, like freaking laser beams. He doesn't have that.
With lasers attached to their freaking heads.
Okay.
He doesn't have, so he's not that overprepared. So Dr. Evil might be considered overprepared.
Well, Mr. Oddjob, that's kind of a crazy prepared thing, isn't it?
Who? What?
Mr. Oddjob, you know, with the razor wire hat.
Yeah. Once he throws his hat, he's very unprepared.
Oh yeah, then the hat's gone.
But he was a pro wrestler, so.
Now he's just a giant man who can karate chop people.
Would Iron Man count then? Would Iron Man count then?
Would Iron Man count then?
Would Iron Man count then?
Iron Man count.
Turning into Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, Iron Man.
What is like?
I don't know. Iron Man.
I mean, think about it.
He makes a bigger suit to deal with the Hulk.
Yeah, but that's not overpreparedness. That's like the Hulk helped him do that.
That's foresight. What?
A bigger suit for the Hulk to wear? I'm not very familiar with this.
In Avengers 2...
the Hulk.
There's only 2 Avengers movies, so...
All right.
But there's 3 Iron Mans, which I haven't seen the middle one.
Don't worry, you're not missing anything.
Oh, the second one? Yeah.
Well, you're missing like 5 minutes of coolness and the rest of, and Sam Rockwell dancing, which is pretty freakful. But other than that,
I forget Sam Rockwell's in that.
You know, he was almost Tony Stark, and I'm like, that would have been cool. As much as I like Robert Downey Jr., I'm like, Sam Rockwell's awesome. So,
but I mean, honestly, it's like he makes. At one point, they were up to the Mark 43, as far as suits go. You know.
Well, that's preparing.
Yeah.
Is that preparedness or is that literally just boredom? Because it's like he's making them in the 3rd movie. He makes them because he's got PTSD.
But I mean, you get to the point where it's like, okay, the first suit is just a giant, suit of armor, basically. But by the time you get to the 5th or 6th, it's like, okay, I've figured out how to put 12 missiles in this instead of just 11. It's like,
one more on the back of the head.
Yeah, exactly. You get to the point where he's like, okay, and now I can integrate. It's like I would say it's overpreparedness.
Is he losing weight so he can fit more stuff in the suit?
Yeah. 5 more pounds.
His ego's already fit, so.
You got circumcised so you could put one in. Never mind.
Dennis says Charlie Sheen and Hot Shots too. Mr. Movie says National Bird of America. That's Uncle Don. Oh, Uncle Donald Trump. Ugh, huge.
Yeah, he's definitely overprepared.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh yeah, none of us. Oh wait, sorry, Wolf. I was going to say none of us are Americans, but. Maybe not.
American.
I'm an American idiot in Denmark, is what I am.
Where's Wolf from?
I'm in Washington State.
Yeah, I fucked up.
So you're American.
I fucked up. Okay. Yeah, I fucked up. Maybe not overly prepared, but Doctor. Planet of the Apes. Yes. Planet.
Not really overly prepared, but I get what you're getting.
Dennis sticking with the E. Steves brothers, Emilio, and loaded weapon one. Dear God, Dredd with his pistol.
Yeah, but then every guy has the same pistol, so it's not just Dredd. Like that's the top standard issue pistol.
And Daniel says the Joker from The Dark Knight was well prepared in a batshit crazy way.
I see what you did there.
And we're off.
You're clever.
So, Wolf,
wonderful.
Was the Joker well prepared in Dark Knight?
I don't deny that he was well prepared, but I do say he wasn't the Joker. That's always my complaint about that movie.
You know what? I have heard that before from people saying it's just he's not the Joker. He's, and he's not the traditional Joker. right? Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like but he's still the Joker. He's just not the Joker you want. I would say, like, I've seen Jokers, like, I used to be like that, where I was like, that's not the Joker, but it's like, well, it is. It's just not the one. You know, so it's like with the Suicide Squad one, people went, that's not the Joker, because now people love freaking Heath Ledger's Joker. So now, like, anything else is not the Joker to a whole generation of people.
Exactly.
I thought people would be more willing to give him a chance if they gave Heath Ledger a chance. Then why not Jared Leto? But it just
they hated Heath Ledger.
Man. Well, no, they didn't.
First, yeah.
Before they saw it, they
when he was cast. When he was
cast. You know, that's the thing. I personally think, like, I love Nolan in a lot of ways, but I think Nolan is brilliant in his casting, for most part.
Really?
And yeah, I'm so trustworthy with that guy's casting that if he'd showed up to my house and said, "Listen, I got some tights here. You need you to be Robin," I'd be like, I don't even act, but if you're telling me I can do the part, I will do the part. It's like, you know, because I just think he sees something that he wants and was like, yep, that guy, like, because when they said Heath Ledger is going to be the Joker, I was like, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You is going to be the Joker.
See, I thought Brokeback Mountain first of all, but okay, 10 Things.
Sure. Yeah, that's where I went.
Over here, I mean, Brokeback was big, but I think that's, honestly, that was the first thing I thought of too. It's like 10 Things I Hate About You.
Or A
Really?
Knight's Tale?
I didn't even think that was a well-known movie.
I don't know. I got my wife.
Brokeback is, but
I've seen it a million times.
I thought of Lords of Dogstown, so.
I even forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah,
but yeah, so, like, I don't know. It's,
you know,
it's one of those things, right? Like, people now consider that the Joker, right? And that must piss you off nothing, because, you know, it's like, if that wasn't your Joker then, you just imagine how much he wasn't your Joker now. You know, it's like, so it gets worse that, you know.
It's just to the point where it's like, and you're right, it's not my version of the Joker. To me, the Joker is the clown prince of crime.
Mark Hamill's your version of the Joker, right?
Voice-wise, yeah.
Yeah, like mean, Batman the Animated Series.
I don't think he was on an episode of The Flash, was it last year or the year before, where he played the trickster.
Yeah.
And it basically was
Joker.
Him doing it was Joker, and I was like, I couldn't swallow it. I was just kind of like,
Did you?
Because I kept hearing.
Yeah. Did you see the original Flash TV show?
Yeah, because he played Trickster on there.
Yeah, he played Trickster on that, and like that was before animated series. And like when he like, you know, I heard his voice, and then later I'm like, holy crap! It's like he's basically doing the same voice. It's like, so. Yeah,
and it's all I was like, I couldn't swallow, because it's like, as cool as it was him playing James
Trickster.
Jesse,
yeah,
you know, Trickster. I kept on hearing the Joker, so. But what I'm getting at is, like, to me, the clown prince of crime, and the emphasis to me is always on the clown part, not the crime part. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, yes, he does rob places and cause trouble, but he does it in more of a fun, manic way. And Ledger in The Dark Knight was just a thug, and this is the way I describe it every time. And I just see him as like some guy that put on makeup and put on a purple suit and said, "Hey, I'm the Joker."
I think in the world that Nolan set up, Heath Ledger as the Joker is what you're. I mean, it's.
Can we try and mention this in every stream from now on?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, really. I mean, I hope so.
It's it's just a fucking lightning rod.
Emily's like, thank God that Peter works most of these days. I'm sorry, Emily.
No, it's not. No, this is not you, Peter. This is CP going, Wolf, go. And,
well, wait. So real quick, Wolf, re-give your top 5 most overrated movies, and Peter, just go ahead and sit back and get ready. So Dark Knight's one of them.
Yes.
Oh man, overrated. Looking for the list.
Shawshank was one of them, wasn't it?
Yep, Shawshank.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay,
that's
so here we go.
all time, so like, no. You're dead to me.
Yeah. That was kind of a Paramount Yeah.
If Videodrome is number 5, Doctor Strangelove is number 3, The Dark Knight is Doctor Strangelove is number 4, Dark Knight is number 3, Shawshank is number 2, and 2001 is number 1.
Peter?
I can have his opinion. I'm okay with it. I disagree with Videodrome? Was Videodrome on the list? Is that what you said, number 4 or 5?
Yeah,
number 5.
See, I don't know.
Which one of these does not belong?
I was like, Videodrome. I don't remember people hyping praise on tons a lot. Like,
you don't hear the people that praise that movie.
No, I liked it. But I didn't. I don't remember.
I liked it, but I don't think it's his.
I don't think it's his best thing. It's like it's definitely not as good as The Fly.
You think Videodrome is Cronenberg's best thing?
No, I don't think it's his best thing. I think it's.
I was gonna say, whoa.
No, I don't think it's as good as The Fly. I don't think it's probably as good as some other stuff he's done. So no, I liked it. But I didn't. I definitely. I've never heard people praise it. Actually, I've never heard anyone talk about it in any forum where they're like, "It's amazing." So I have heard that for all those other films.
Shawshank,
Shawshank, I think I'll flat out say it. I think Shawshank's the best movie ever made, but I think it's the best movie ever made for certain reasons. I get why people would say it's overpraised because I believe because it hit that number 1 on IMDb. Anyone who doesn't know jack about movies and who watches 5 movies a year will tell you that that's the best movie ever made because they saw it on a list. And not for the reasons that I will say that I think it's the best movie ever made. It's just like
no, say what you want, man. I mean,
there's a certain set of like expectations too. Like day 1 of film school, my teacher put on Citizen Kane, and he said that you just have to watch this. It's medicine. It's
yeah. See, I think that's overhyped. But
right.
I find it odd when films are overhyped in posterity. Normally it's before the release of a movie, as far as I could tell, but the fact that something can be so ingrained into public consciousness and built up even decades later is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Shawshank in particular, one of the reasons it got overhyped is because when it came out, no one saw it, and then it got word of mouth. Well, the title, and it was a prison movie, right? Like you had Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction that year. And then this prison movie, which seems sad. And
if you just called it Tim Robbins crawls through a river of shit nearly half a mile long.
People might have went and saw it, but the title, kind of threw people off. And then it got nominated for Oscar, didn't win and stuff. But the next year, it was the most rented video that year because it got word of mouth. And this is before social media and all that crap. So it was purely just word of mouth. Like Usual Suspects did the same thing. Usual Suspects was a movie that thrived on video because of word of mouth. So the problem with Shawshank in particular, there's a station in America called TBS, which played it all the time. Like every weekend it was on, and like you couldn't get away from it. And so back when there wasn't unlimited internet everywhere, and so it's like you had 50 channels, and one of them was always going to have Shawshank on it, pretty much. And so
that same station showed Smokey and the Bandit in the 80s.
Yeah, that's and so it became part of the culture that was the movie. And then when you heard people on critic sites saying best movie of all time, people just accepted that it was, and they moved on with their life. Like, no, it's the best thing ever, and there's no, it's over. No point in talking about it. So I understand anyone who goes, it's overhyped because it's the best movie.
I can't even watch it, man. I honestly, it's not just that
every year at least, but but I didn't allow myself to get over.
That's how I feel about Showgirls. I'm sorry, you tricked me. Ask me again.
Ask you what again?
Sorry, I didn't mean to airbag us. You said you watch. You said you watch it once a year, and I said, "Oh, that's Showgirl to me."
Oh, okay. Second, I thought you said Shogun, and I'm like, "Wow, you're really getting into the into the Asian cinema there, CB."
I guess
I still haven't seen Showgirls. Is it good?
No.
Terrible.
Is it? Well, I know it's terrible, but is it good? Terrible.
If you ask 13-year-old me, it has the greatest sex scene ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, with the pool? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that you know.
Everyone knows. Dude, I've never seen the full movie. I know that scene. It's like, everybody knows that scene.
15-year-old me watching that. Is that what straight sex is like?
Yeah.
Definitely not. It's not sex. Period. It's not straight sex. It's not sex. It's I don't know. Unless that guy's hung like a fucking snake.
Zebra.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go. There's the 5 movies that Wolf thinks are overrated, and I disagree with 4 of them.
That's fine.
But again, like I don't know.
You had to be here when I threw that out there onto the internet, a couple weeks ago.
Unfortunately, I couldn't. If I could go back in time and get the chat live when he was just rifling these things off, and when he said the Joker's not the Joker, it's like, like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. Again, I get it on some level. Just like my friend was like, that's not Batman and Batman versus Superman. He's like, it's not. He goes, that's not my Batman. He goes, because he's killing people. It's not my Batman. And I'm like, I can get that. It's like, I understand.
I have a very minor version of that with Friday the 13th.
The thing I like about Ben Affleck's Batman as compared to Christian Bale is and you brought it up earlier. We finally get the Muscle Beach look Batman, the oversized body.
No, none of us brought it up. That was brought up last week on Dorkening. Angry Geek. Fuck. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, dude.
Louis Perry from the Angry Geeks.
Yes. Yeah. He brought it up.
No, but I mean, but I'm just saying. I mean, as compared to Christian Bale, whose body type wasn't intimidating at all, and I always, whenever they tell the story of Batman, he picked the bat because it's supposed to impose fear. Well, when you see the skinny guy show up in a suit, there's no fear imposed.
Well, in daylight, it's not as intimidating. I'll be honest, but it's. But in the scene in the garage in the second one, it works pretty well, especially with the car blowing up crap.
And
he's supposed to be in the shadows. He's not supposed to be like, look at me, I'm Batman out in the sun walking around. I look ridiculous.
Not only that, I say if you're watching a movie and your big gripe is what the character is wearing, like you're watching. The wrong things are happening for you. If your first gripe is, his outfit's all wrong.
Has there ever been a superhero that just came out in a polo shirt and jeans?
Yeah, he was called Chuck Norris.
James Dean.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Chuck Norris. That was it.
I don't think so. The Punisher might be the closest thing.
Wolverine, for most part.
This vigilante, what did he look like? He was wearing just clothes, bag over his face. Oh, well, that's helpful.
Showgirls is fucking awful. Watch The Room instead. It has a better sex scene. No, it doesn't. It has the same sex scene 4 times.
Actually,
and the one on the spiral staircase.
Mm-hmm. If you want to watch a movie with a better sex scene than Showgirls, watch Bound.
It was pretty impressive.
Watch Blue is the warmest color. I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, also lesbians. Yeah.
Whoa.
There's actually an art house film called The Room, which has an interesting lesbian sex scene. Very, very ambitious.
They use trampolines and ropes.
All right, where else are there lesbian sex scenes, Emily?
Girls, Wild Things, I guess.
Atomic Blonde.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
I'm not the expert.
In Denmark here, it's in the fucking trailer, and I was like, I leaned over to Dennis. I'm like, they wouldn't show this in the States because it was parts of the fucking sex scene. It was just in the trailer.
Carol, that's a good one.
It's a good sex scene, or is it just
Well, Kate Blanchett is in it.
Oh,
so yes.
You're bringing a personal.
Kate Blanchett's like.
Yeah, I could say Jennifer Aniston in Derailed has a good sex scene, but it really isn't. It's just Jennifer Aniston in a pseudo sex scene.
Okay, so maybe there's a slight bias creeping in, but yeah.
Okay. Right, fair. Yeah.
I don't hold that against you, Emily. I can understand why, you know.
They're lesbians. What more do
I'm
you
all
want?
for
It's in it.
I'm all for Kate Blanchett too, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's nothing wrong with Kate Blanchett as far as I know, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, so I'm the asshole.
And Rooney Mara also, if that makes any difference. What do we think of Rooney Mara?
I'm all for the Mars sisters.
She has a better sex scene in what the fuck is it? With Channing Tatum.
Come
on,
I haven't seen it.
I was gonna say I don't know what movie you're talking about.
Channing Tatum, Rooney Mara. Side effects.
Oh yeah, okay, I've seen that movie.
The only other thing I've seen her in is the girl with the dragon tattoo, I think. That was
Yeah, see, I never watched
No,
that. I've seen the original, and I was like, I don't need to watch that.
Now that I think about it, can Rooney Mara make a movie where she just keeps her clothes on?
Only time will tell.
Do I want her to? No.
I just said can. Can. There's probably a nude scene somewhere in Pan too.
It's in her contract. It's must do one nude scene.
At least one nipple.
But this is a Disney film. You want me or
At least
not?
one. Like, I don't need to see the pair.
Contractually obligated.
One and a little bit of side boob. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the girl with the dragon tattoo. I like the girl with the, but you're right about it. It's not compared to the original Swedish version, or Swedish. Compared to the original foreign movie. I'm gonna get out of that one altogether. You're right; it doesn't compare. But if you've never seen,
I can't actually say that because I've never seen the remake. Because I was just like, I saw the original. I'm good.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The Swedish trilogy is pretty well.
Yeah, I own the Swedish trilogy. I love. I think it's great. I think it's brilliant. And I'm just like, I don't need to. And they're like, but it's. And they're like, it's David Fincher. And I'm like, David Fincher's a brilliant filmmaker, but I've seen the original. I don't need to see it. It's like, yeah, but this. I'm like, yeah, but just.
I say, I mean, now that you have seen the original, I say give it a chance. I'm not saying you got to love it.
I'm sure one day I'll end up seeing it again.
Comparative wise, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So, are there sex scenes that are a little too much to sit through? Like I when you mentioned
Blue is the warmest color.
Wait, what?
I was like, whoa.
Wait, what?
Blue is the warmest color. I was just like, okay.
Well, see,
I haven't seen. So what was wrong with it?
What Blue is the warmest color?
Sure.
It just goes on a bit too long, and apparently the two ladies were saying the director was kind of being like, oh, just keep going and they're like, we don't want to, and he's like, keep going, it's fine, you know. And it was just like, okay, this is uncomfortable, and it kind of came across like that. I don't know. So at least for me, maybe for other people, wouldn't. I have no clue. So
yeah, if the actresses don't appear to be into it, then I guess that would take a sex scene down quite a tad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, then there's the opposite, which is the pool scene from Showgirls, which
too much.
Yeah. What are you doing? Why? Are you being electrocuted? Why are you flipping like that? But the girl with the dragon tattoo, the Fincher version, I felt like there was sex scenes in there. It was just like, this isn't very attractive. And I'll take your silence as agreeing and discomfort.
The sex scenes in Basic Instinct were kind of comical more than anything. I get the feeling that was intentional, though.
I don't like some since I've seen that movie.
The Specialist.
With my father.
Oh, okay.
In Wales.
Is there anything better than watching a movie that you don't know there's a sex scene in, and then
there was
in Wales as well?
I was in Wales where I was like 16, and there was two movies playing, and we went and saw both of them. The other one being Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which I still like to this day. But yeah, it was just like, oh, we'll go see a movie, and it's like, yeah, it's like I kind of knew what it was about. My dad had no clue, and we're sitting there watching Basic Instinct.
Daniel Hammond says the movie Shame with Michael Fassbender has a lot of sex scenes, or should I say Michael Assman? Michael Fassbender, let me just say, bravo, sir.
Michael Fassbender has been given gifts from God that are not fair.
He has an elephant's nose for a fucking crank. Wow.
He's just not. It's not fair to have that much talent, that much good looks. And
keep in mind, you can't show erections in regular movies, so that's not full attention too.
He's got too much. God gave him too much.
God bless.
Oh, the sex scene in Antichrist, that was a bit fucking...
Oh, yeah, that was a little out there, a little too much, a little...
I never saw that.
Both the opening one and the important one.
Probably anything from Lars von Trier's I've heard.
Oh, yeah, Nymphomaniac
is apparently too much. I don't think I've ever seen any of his stuff. I don't know.
Nymphomaniac is like just a series of awful sex scenes where it's just like, oh, do I need to keep watching this?
That's what I was kind of like. I don't know if I want to watch those films, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to watch those films. So,
yeah.
So
yeah. Crash, the Spader one. Isn't that? Yeah, I think there's a sex scene in a car, right? Right if they get in a car accident and they get a hat.
Yep.
What's that?
That was. Crash. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole thing is cars, isn't it? Or car crashes. So
well, yeah, they get in an accident and they get all worked up about it.
This isn't bad. No.
Yeah, that was the.
That's what I do generally when I get in a car accident.
That was a Cronenberg film too. So
what?
Cronenberg.
Which was a Cronenberg film?
Crash.
The '90s version, Peter.
Oh, the '90s. I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, man, I missed that one.
Yeah, not the Brendan Fraser one. Bull.
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Not the Oscar-winning Crash.
Oh.
We're talking about a different movie.
That was such an abysmal year.
Yeah.
To be fair, the score wasn't bad. That's the most notable thing I can say about that film.
The score, the film, the score, or the score of the film, The Crash?
The score of the film Crash was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
The film, the score was pretty disappointing.
Okay, bye.
What, you loved the score?
I kind of enjoyed it, yeah.
I was disappointed in it, but that's partly because of trailer stuff. The trailer lied to me.
Edward Norton, what the fuck happened?
No, he's great in that. He's literally great. The trailer lied to me. Like, and I'm not kidding. Flat out lied. Like, the trailer says it's talking about this thing, and he goes, oh, and they need 4 people to get, or they need all 4 people to get it, and they show Robert De Niro, Ed Norton, Brando, and then they show Angela Bassett, which Angela Bassett has a small role as the girlfriend of De Niro. She has nothing to do with getting the thing. And so it looked like this big heist movie to me. And I was like, oh, it's going to be awesome. And then it was like, what? You lied to me. She has nothing to do with this. Like, and Brando barely had anything to do with it. So it was just like, oh, okay. So I thought I was getting this, and I got that. And it disappointed me.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's just like, don't lie to me with the trailer. Like, they did that. A lot of people didn't like the Fourth Bourne series movie with Jeremy Renner because they made it look like, number 1, Jason Bourne was in it. Number 2, like Ed Norton and him are having conversations. And meanwhile, it's a flashback, and it's like they made it look like something it wasn't. And a lot of people came over going, that wasn't what I was expecting, so I hate it now.
I actually enjoyed the Bourne Legacy.
So did I, actually. So I was like, nope, liked it. I wish they wouldn't have lied to me with the trailer.
What about the film Rubber? Daniel Hyman says this is random, but has anybody seen the film Rubber, which Emily says she has?
Rubber is hysterically awesome. We're talking about the tire one, right?
I thought the twist at the end was pretty radical.
Where the tricycle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't stop laughing. No, wait, he's still. It's like, oh my lord, yeah. I love that movie.
He says it like it's obvious. He became reincarnated as.
Wait, come back! He became reincarnated as a tricycle.
Sorry for anyone who hasn't seen Rubber.
We just ruined the film for you, but it is so freaky. Well, we didn't because it's not a film you can ruin, really.
Yeah, no, not really.
I've seen. I don't think I ever got all the way through that movie. I think I saw 45 minutes.
What is the plot of the movie? How do you even describe it?
It's about an anthropomorphic sentient tire who is homicidal, and meanwhile people are watching him thinking they're in a movie, watching a movie. Mm-hmm. That's it. And it's like, it's so like, I did a review for it. I actually got, like, when I was new to YouTube, I got asked to do a review for Rubber, and I was like, okay. And I watched it and I was like, I love this movie. It's so out there and it so doesn't make sense. And you either, like, the people who hate it, I get it. It's like, because it doesn't make any sense, but it's like a tire that, like, you know, goes and sleeps in a motel room and gets thrown in the pool. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. But I absolutely adore the movie. I think it's totally fun. So I don't
know. So we're getting close to wrap up time, guys. Any closing thoughts for this Wish Wash week?
Thank you. Sorry.
No. Thank you for joining us, Peter. It's been far too long since you've been here.
Yeah, you know, I miss you.
Dude, I miss talking about movies that I have no idea. I used to know everything that comes out every weekend. And now
I know, me too. And I was like looking at the box office going, holy crap, man, I've been so way off lately.
Yeah. Here, it's just like, what's that, Wolf?
So, I was going to say, in the last 2 weeks, Emily and I have seen more movies than you have because you've been gone, I haven't seen this.
I saw Dunkirk twice, which, you know, it's just wasting my money.
Wow.
Actually, it was the first, here, have a drink. It was first Nolan movie I took to see my daughters to see.
Yay!
So they'd never seen one in the theater. They'd seen them all at home. So, yeah.
Okay, so guys, let me fill my audience in. My hard drive completely bricked, so I do not know what sort of produced material I will be if. I don't know. I have to start from scratch, so I don't know what's going to happen regarding produced videos, so at least there's this. But anything you guys got coming up, Peter?
I'm taking the summer off from producing crap.
Oh, good for you.
So I was gonna do some smaller things, but I'm like, you know, right now I'm literally on vacation from work for a week. But no, I'm just September. I'm gonna start back up and get back up into making real videos. But I live stream, so
yeah.
If anyone wants to live stream, I'm around for certain things, you know. It's like, but I'm not going to be producing anything. I'm relaxing on vacation.
And that YouTube channel is the Bearded Movie Guy.
Yeah, I've lost like 10 subscribers in the last couple of weeks.
Dude, so everybody did. Everybody lost a bunch in the last week. Yeah.
I want to lose a bunch. I want to lose a bunch. Because I'd like to lose a bunch of them. Here, I'll plug the one thing I did do. I made some movie quizzes for my daughters and wife, which are 20-second snippets of movie scores. And so you have 20 seconds of the score and then 5 seconds of what the poster is with the score. And there's 30 movies per video, and there's 3 videos out there. If you want to watch that and test, and they're really random stuff from the 80s, stuff from the 90s, 2000s stuff. So check my channel out for that. That's the only thing I've done lately.
Sweet. Wolf.
Well,
Instagram 13th Wolfman, Tumblr 13th Wolfman. Sorry.
No, my sit down with Bianca Brady went up today.
Okay.
Who is from Wormwood.
Wormwood, right? With an Y.
Yeah. I've got my review for Atomic Blonde up, and of course today I'm going to be recording the new sit down with Jay Green, the stunt coordinator for Death House.
Ooh.
You know. So
the
I got that going
star-studded Death House.
Star-studded Death House. Last week we talked to Harrison Smith on Wicked Horror Show, who is the director for Death House. Mm-hmm. And so along with me recording Sit Down with Jay Green will also be on Wicked Horror Show. And like CP was just joking with me about everything else, if you want to follow me, I'm on YouTube, the 13th Wolfman, Twitter at the 13th Wolfman, Tumblr 13th Wolfman. The probably every Sunday on the Dorking, every Tuesday on Wicked Horror Show. Doing Horror One with Kev. And of course, you can catch me here every Tuesday on American Werewolf Family.
Yeah. So you gotta start incorporating that into your little spiel there.
It is. It's already
all right. Sweet. And Emily, Marble Hornets.
Yeah, and then after that, The Exorcist, I think.
Ooh.
And maybe 1 or 2 other videos coming up that.
The original Exorcist?
Who knows? Oh yeah. Why? They remade it?
No.
Thank fuck.
William Friedkin?
Dude, Peter, if you heard some of the things that she hasn't seen, it's just like.
Okay. Well, you know, there's still.
I've seen The Exorcist.
I haven't seen Saw, so I can't. That one, you know, with that movie with those 2 guys with the big walking carpet. Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, I've never seen that. No, just kidding.
No.
Yeah. So before we go, let me just screen share the last bit of the chat because we finally sort of figured it out. Why does the Emoji Movie have to exist? Haha. LOL.
Because Dropbox.
Yeah, because I don't know, life.
Because of reasons and money.
Deathbed is the stupidest damn thing. It can't move. People have to keep going up to it and get eaten. It's the bed that eats people.
Yeah, Jan Birch is actually in House Shark, and I want to see that. So because I interviewed him about it.
And Dennis says he got 6 new subs and he hasn't made a video in a month. Haha. That's from his cameo in my marathon, but you know, we'll let that.
I didn't unsub you. I didn't mean to. I'll go and rectify that as soon as I get off this.
She'll get it eventually. Emily, are you going to read this series?
Probably not, unless someone asks for it. In which case, yay! Looking forward to it.
Nobody ask Emily for anything because her fucking list is redundant.
I'm quite backlogged, but that's my fault. I don't make videos fast enough.
I'm not helping either. I'm like, here, watch Star Wars because.
Because I need to, yeah.
Well, you've never watched Star Wars?
I've seen the first 2 now, but that's it.
Wait, well, the first 2, which ones do you mean?
4 and 5.
Yeah.
4 and 5. Okay, those are the real ones. Don't worry about the things before them.
On that note, everybody say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.